Welcome back, everyone. Today, we have an incredibly unique explainer for you. We're going to take a giant magnifying glass to a seemingly simple piece of source material, a transcript from a kid's animation titled Adventures in Babysitting from the Jungle Beat universe. But, we aren't just watching a cartoon today. We're going to conduct a rigorous, highly analytical exploration of a complex narrative, told almost entirely through jungle animal grunts, sighs, and exclamations. It is literally a masterclass in minimalist storytelling. We're going to decode this phonetic journey together and reveal the rich, high-stakes drama hiding just beneath the surface of these really simple sounds.
Okay, let's dive right into this by focusing on a single, staggering number, 36. In this incredibly brief snippet of transcript, the exclamation "oh" appears exactly 36 times. Think about that for a second. Without any complex sentences, without a single traditional paragraph of exposition, the creators have established just a sheer, overwhelming scale of panic. That repetition? It isn't an accident. It is a meticulously crafted auditory landscape of a babysitting job going completely, utterly off the rails.
So here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the art of nonverbal storytelling, then move into Act 1, the inquisitive From there, we hit Act 2, the oh escalation, followed by the climax, woohoo, and wow. And we'll wrap it all up with our conclusion on what we learned.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the art of nonverbal storytelling beyond the spoken word.
When we break down the exact statistical distribution of the syllables used here, the results are actually fascinating. A massive 60% of the entire communication is dominated by just the sound O. The contemplative takes up about 13%, while variations of confusion and realization, your ahs, hus, and us, take up 20%. But look at that remaining tiny sliver. Actual, recognizable English words make up a minuscule 7% of the entire transcript. The characters are relying almost entirely on pure, raw emotion rather than structured language to convey their reality.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the deliberate contrast. On one side, we have these incredibly rare, recognizable words, hi, yes, come, hey. And on the other side, we have this vast, overwhelming sea of visceral, animalistic exclamations. So you have to ask, why did the creators strategically place these specific, civilized words right in the middle of total primal chaos? Well, these rare words serve as anchors. They remind us that there's a rational intent trying, and let's be honest, largely failing, to maintain order in an inherently chaotic babysitting environment.
Moving right along to Act 1, the inquisitive This is our inciting incident.
Before we actually look at the text, we need to define our terms here. In the context of this jungle narrative, is definitely not just filler. It's the auditory manifestation of curiosity, of active problem-solving, or maybe just deep primate confusion. It really represents the character's initial, intellectual attempt to rationally process the complexities of their babysitting charge before the whole situation spirals out of control. Basically, it's the sound of a plan being formulated.
And we get to see that formulation in action right away. Listen to this specific string from the very beginning of the transcript. Oh. Hi. It's brilliant, right? We see the analytical attempting to kind of bracket the situation. We even get the civilized, polite introduction of the word hi. But notice what's happening right in the middle. Those analytical moments are already being threatened by an encroaching swarm of O's. The chaos is already breaching the perimeter of their logic.
Which brings us to Act 2, the O escalation, spiraling completely out of control.
I want you to really absorb this next sequence. Oh. When you look at the stark simplicity of those words, it completely belies the deep existential panic it represents. The characters are completely overwhelmed here. There's a single desperate hum and an just gasping for air in the middle, but they are instantly drowned out by the relentless, frantic repetition of pure stress.
So the crucial point is that O transitions from a simple reaction to a profound narrative device. It becomes a direct signifier of primate panic, escalating conflict, and the absolute total loss of control. Every single O in that middle act acts as a rhythmic drumbeat of escalating disaster. It's literally the sound of a system breaking down.
If we track this dynamically, the scientific reality of the scene becomes crystal clear. First, you have early curiosity, with the holding strong. But very quickly, confusion sets in with a huh. And then, boom, a massive, overwhelming surge of panic, represented by the O's dominating the middle act. The intellect has entirely collapsed under the pressure of babysitting. But a narrative can't sustain that tension forever. Welcome to Section 4, the climax, woohoo and wow.
Out of the darkness, a breakthrough finally occurs. And this brilliantly illustrates the emotional shift. Listen to these sounds of triumph. Wow, yes, come, and the ultimate catharsis, woohoo! The sudden introduction of these specific positive sounds absolutely shatters the tension built by those endless O's. Yes and come show agency and command returning to our protagonists, while wow and woohoo represent ultimate victory over the chaos. When we map this out chronologically, it's actually astonishing. We are essentially looking at Joseph Campbell's classic hero's journey mapped directly onto phonetic shifts. At minute 1, we have the call to adventure, where they encounter the problem. By minute 5, we are deep in the belly of the whale, facing the struggle with the relentless OO. And finally, by minute 9, we achieve the ultimate boon, the victory, beautifully encapsulated by a triumphant woohoo. It's a foundational mythological structure executed entirely through monkey noises. Absolutely wild.
All right, let's bring it all home in Section 5. Conclusion. What we learned.
Let's see how this all builds and perfectly summarizes the architecture of the piece. The call to action is the identifying the problem. The abyss, the absolute lowest point of the narrative, is dominated by the O of overwhelming chaos. And the return, the grand resolution, is the hoo-hoo of ultimate triumph. What we have here is a flawless, complete narrative arc that was perfectly executed without utilizing a single traditional sentence.
Which leaves us with a rather profound question to end this explainer. Does language get in the way of true understanding? When we step back and look at how effectively, how viscerally, this story of panic and triumph was conveyed through mere syllables, we really have to wonder. Perhaps pure, raw, phonetic emotion is actually the most honest, direct, and universal form of storytelling we possess. Thank you so much for joining me on this phonetic journey today. I really hope this completely changed how you view nonverbal communication, and I'll see you in the next explainer.